Hello students, welcome to the next video of the subject that is VMGP. In this chapter, we will learn about the maintenance and overhauling. In this chapter, the first part is the maintenance and overhauling of the engine components. Right, the maintenance and overhauling of the different engine components will be seen in the detail in this chapter, and this chapter will consist of the number of parts to be covered in the different videos. In this first video, we will see the engine disassembly, also the cylinder overhauling process, the processes that is required for the repairing of the cylinder will be seen in this video as well. So let's start this video for the maintenance and overhauling of the engine components. The first thing is the engine overhauling. Now the engine overhauling is required whenever we are going to have any bigger problem in the engine. Right? For the smaller problems, the engine should not be disassembled. Right? Until it is possible to drive the vehicle by just a simple repairing of the engine. The engine is not required to be disassembled. Right? This has to be kept in the mind whenever we are going for the overhauling of the engine process. The first process that is required for the overhauling, if we are doing, then we will first inspect the engine for its different performance characteristics will be inspected. If there is any problem, then we will repair the engine if it is required, whatever process is required. After that, processing, the overhauling process is completed, the engine will again be reassembled. After reassembling the engine, we will test the engine, right? After repairing, we will have to test if the proper repairing process has been done on that or not. The next thing is we will approve and fit the engine in the vehicle. After testing if all the parameters is in given factors, then the engine will be fitted in the vehicle again and will be given to the consumer. The thing that has to be kept in the mind is that if only it is necessary, then and then the overhauling of the engine will be done. Otherwise, the engine will not be disassembled, and that will be dependent on the service center that we are going for the repairing process. Right. Next thing that should be seen is the preparing engine for the removal. For that, the first step is to develop the plan to remove the engine. Right. Engine has a number of parts. So before we remove the engine, the different things that is connected to the engine, different accessories that is connected to engine should be noted down, should be marked, so that when we are again installing the engine, the installation is not sturdy work and we know that which things fit at which place. Right. After that, we will determine which tools that will be required after removing the engine or during the removal of the engine. For example, if the engine is sturdy, if it has higher weight, if it is four-wheeler engine, then we will require a portable crane or the crane which is used in the service center to lift the engine from the vehicle. We will study the procedure, the recommended procedure given in the manual. That procedure should be followed whenever we are removing the engine from the vehicle. The position of the chain will be directly over the center of the engine, right? So that the center of gravity of the engine will be balanced. After that, we will disconnect the battery, right? This is the first procedure while we are removing the engine. The battery needs to be disconnected, right? That is the first procedure. Next, we will take the pictures of the different components or different accessories or different wires that has been connected with the engine, so that we know which thing fits at which place whenever we are installing the engine. After, we will make the marks on the different hoses or the pipes and the brackets which are connected to the engine, So during the installation it will be easier. We will drain all the fluids from the engine and we will keep in the separate container. So if we can use that again in the engine if the condition permits. And the last thing, we will remove all the accessories from the engine. Removing of the engine can be done by the simple method is that first when we are removing the engine from the vehicle, first we need to protect the paint of the vehicle and the outer surface of the vehicle. It should not get damaged while we are removing the engine. Next thing is we will protect the radiator so that it doesn't get damaged when we are lifting the engine, because radiator is very near to the engine and it can damage the radiator component, so that we need to protect the radiator whenever we are lifting the engine from the vehicle. We will also support the transmission whenever we are removing the engine, as we know that engine and transmission are connected, and if we are removing the one support of the engine connected to the transmission, then we will have to give an extra support to the transmission if we are removing the engine from the vehicle. We will remove the vehicle engine from the above if possible, right? The best thing to remove the engine is to lift the engine from the vehicle from the above. That will protect the parts. We will also use the factory lift points if that are given in the engine service stations if possible, right? So that it will be easier to lift the engine from the vehicle. Also, whenever we are using the crane, so in that crane the length of the boom or the lifting component is important. If the length of the boom is lower, then the lifting capacity will be reduced. So the length of boom should be appropriate so the engine can be lifted. In the figure you can see that crane has been used to remove the engine from the vehicle from the above position. In that the length of boom is sufficient to lift this amount of the engine or this weighted amount of the engine, and that can be easily removed from the vehicle. Next thing we will see is the engine disassembly. Now in this background graphics you can see the disassembly of the engine in the animated view. In that the different components is getting removed. First the accessories of the engine is being removed, the different wires and different electronic components is removed, the oil sumps, the other accessories, the connected particles of the oil is being removed, the spark plug is being removed. Again you can see the oil filter, the oil level indicator is removed, the belts has been removed, the intake system has been removed. After that you can see that the upper part of the engine, the head has been removed, the different gears will be seen removing. All the things will be removed in the stepwise manner given in the service manual. In this animation you can see the proper steps to remove the different components. You can see the camshaft has been removed of the valve. After that the valves will be removed. After that the whole cylinder block has been removed, and after the piston and cylinders will be removed by opening the cover, and by the opening of the cover the crankshaft, after the crankshaft can also be removed by removing all the nuts and bolts that has been connected, right? The piston and crankshaft or the piston and connecting rod is being removed in the last step. So this is how all the components of the engine can be removed from the engine assembly. Next thing we will learn is the cylinder bore measurement. Right, in that case the cylinder bore can be measured with the help of the dial indicator, right, that we saw in the measuring instrument for the wear video. The dial indicator is being pushed in the cylinder and it gives you the amount of the variation in the cylinder, and the value of that variation will be noted down. If it is above the given circumstances, then the procedure needs to be done on the cylinder. And to measure the cylinder bore, we need to take the 6 steps. In this figure you can see the bore is measured at the A point, B point and C point. And at these 3 points we are measuring the bore in two directions, x direction and y direction. The bore can be different in the x and y direction as well. So we are generally taking the 6 reading of the cylinder bore, and if they are very variable, then we need to do the cylinder boring process on the cylinder. So now what is the procedure for the cylinder boring and why cylinder boring process is required in the engine cylinder, right? So in the case of the cylinder boring process requirement is that whenever the vehicle is being driven at some certain speed or for certain time, the vehicle gets weared out, or in the engine there is always the reciprocating motion between the piston and the cylinder. So due to that reciprocating motion, continuously the friction is present between the piston outer surface and the cylinder internal surface. Because of the friction, there is a continuous wear and tear in the vehicle engine, and because of the wear and tear, the clearance will continuously get increasing. If the clearance is too much, then the fuel can leak from the space between that clearance, and it can flow in the bottom side, and it can create harm to the engine. Also the oil can flow in the upward direction as well. The oil can bond with the fuel, and it can also harm the engine in the future prospects. So to increase the life or to get the proper performance from the engine, the boring process will be required if the wearing of the cylinder is from above the given circumstances or given value of the certain wear process. Right? Normal wear is tolerable in the cylinder, and up to a certain level there is not requirement of the cylinder boring process, but after the wear has increased, the boring process will be required. Also, this type of processes is generally done in certain heavy vehicles. For example, the AMTS bus, PRTS bus, the friction present in them is much higher than the normal four-wheelers, and to get the higher life of the vehicle, the engine can be rebuilt on that. For the boring process, it is an reboring process of the cylinder. Right, the bore diameter is again rebored by the tool which can be seen in the background. It creates the even wear in the cylinder. This is required because the wear in the cylinder is uneven. After the boring process, the wear in the cylinder will be even, which means the diameter of the cylinder will be even after applying the cylinder boring process, because we are reboring the cylinder for the extra diameter. The diameter of the cylinder is varied with the long time, and with the reboring process we are increasing the initial bore diameter of the engine. Right? With the help of the reboring, the diameter will increase. So it will increase from the initial value of the bore diameter. So after process will also be required after the boring process. Right? To match the diameter of the cylinder, either the piston set will be replaced or the cylinder liners can be fitted. That will be seen in the next video. In this boring process, the diameter will be increased. Also, the surface of the bore will be even after doing the reboring. Before that, the uneven wear was happened and the surface was 100% uneven and proper lubrication was not getting obtained. And after the completion of the boring process, either we will have to use the new piston set or the cylinder liner can be fitted in the cylinder. After the completion of the cylinder boring process, we will require to do the cylinder honing process. Now from the name, honing process is the finishing process which can be used in certain different components, different category of components. But in case of the cylinder honing, one honing tool will be used which is seen in the background, and after the honing process you will get the finishing of the cylinder bore. Right, boring diameter gives you the extra diameter of the cylinder bore, and after completion of the cylinder boring process, the finishing will be done by the help of the cylinder honing process. The cylinder honing process is the conditioning process of the cylinder surface that is done after the cylinder boring process. The finishing process of the bore diameter will be done by the help of honing tool. The honing tool will give you the finishing process by just rotating it inside the cylinder with the help of the cooling fluid. With the help of the honing process, it will provide the lubrication in between the piston and the cylinder. Right? How this happens is because after the honing process, it gives you the crosshatch pattern on the surface of the cylinder. Now the crosshatch pattern will be in type that it will retain the lubricating oil in that place between the clearance of the piston and cylinder. Due to the crosshatch pattern, the oil will be locked in that space and it will continuously provide the lubrication to the piston and the cylinder so that the value of the friction will reduce after whenever we are driving the engine. The crosshatch pattern can be given at the 45 degrees. The two axes of the 45 degrees with each other has been shown in this figure, and that 45 degrees is an approximate angle between the two axes whenever we are giving the crosshatch pattern in the cylinder honing process. Right. So these are the two processes that is required whenever we need to repair the cylinder. In the case of the cylinder, boring and honing process will be required if the wear in the cylinder is too much. Right. So in this lecture we saw the cylinder boring process, cylinder honing process and the engine overhauling process in brief. In the next lecture we will see the further of the maintenance of engine components. The other different components of the engine will be seen in the next lecture. Until then, thank you so much.